What's up, Night Owls? As of this week, I have finally finished the Monster Manual. One short uploaded for every monster in the Monster Manual, at least the ones in the table of contents. I didn't make shorts for the miscellaneous section because a lot of those are just animals, but if enough people request them, then I guess I'll do them. So in this video, I just wanted to take a second and reflect. I started making shorts 2 years ago, and it started off with just some general stuff, and it wasn't long before I transitioned to monsters. At the time, I was running the adventure module Candlekeep Mysteries. And if you go back and look at the first monsters that I covered, they were all monsters from this book. Lamia, Jackalwere, Were-Raven, Beanlock. This is the same monster progression as the Candlekeep Mysteries. And the reason I started making these shorts is because I run a lot of new players and people that are unfamiliar with the lore. So having these 60-second shorts that I could use almost like handouts mid-session were great. And even now when I record my shorts, I keep that same mindset, something quick and easy that you can pass around to people to get a general idea of a monster. So if you're a DM and you want to introduce a monster to your players that they aren't familiar with, or if you're having a discussion in Discord, it's easy to just pass around a link, 60 seconds, you're good to go. And if this is a monster that interests you and you want to know more about them, you can easily transition to the long form content creators like Mr. Rex, Jordan, and AJ. And speaking of inspirational content creators, the style of video that I make where, floating head over some nice artwork while talking about nerdy stuff, I actually got from a popular trend on TikTok. People like Moose, who cover comic books and superhero lore. Don Marshall, the obscure Lord of the Rings facts guy, and of course Wes Hammer, who covers Warhammer. I have no idea who pioneered this style. I think it just evolved over time as TikTok grew, but I know that I loved it and that we didn't have anybody doing D&D that way. So I thought I would make it my mission to be that guy. And at that time, YouTube Shorts were really taking off. So my channel saw a lot of traction because of it. And thank you for that. And now I'm trying to decide what to do next. The logical step would be to finish 5e and do the Monsters of the Multiverse and just knock all of those out. So go ahead and get those suggestions rolling and I'll go ahead and get started on that. But I also want to cover spells and just the nature of magic in general. I really enjoy talking about that stuff. And whenever I see a comment talking about magic, if you haven't noticed, I immediately jump on it and I have to make a short about it. Like, oh my gosh, I just get so excited when spells and magic start, there's a discussion around it. But I don't know what a spell short should look like, or at least I haven't decided yet. It could be spell mechanics and maybe some interesting uses for a spell. I'm also really fascinated with spell components and why certain spells have the components that they do. From my understanding, spell components aren't just this arbitrary thing that they wrote down. They have a specific purpose and symbolic meaning behind them. My favorite example of this is the spell Tongues, which allows you to understand any spoken language and anyone who speaks a language can understand you. The spell component for this spell is a small clay ziggurat, which is a reference to the Tower of Babel. Stuff like that is so cool to me, and that's why I want to incorporate it in the shorts. So I have to carefully navigate interesting mechanics, clever uses of the spell, and the components all within 60 seconds. I also really love Grim Hollow stuff, and I would like to do shorts on the monsters within the Monstrous Grimoire. But I always feel really weird doing Grim Hollow stuff because sometimes they sponsor my videos, and I don't want people thinking I'm just churning out Grim Hollow ads. But I don't love Grim Hollow stuff because they sponsor my videos. I accepted sponsorships from Grim Hollow because I love them so much. I also really like Kobold Press, and covering monsters from the Tome of Beast and the Codex would be really fun. And they're releasing their own TTRPG, Project Black Flag. I know it's got an actual name now, but I can't remember what it is. Project Black Flag. So there will be some good content to cover there. And of course, there's all the old monsters from previous editions. There are tons in 3.5 that haven't been brought to 5th edition yet. But you know what it's going to ultimately come down to? The comments. As much stuff as I want to cover, the comments are my guiding light. I can't do all the stuff that I just laid out, at least not all at once. It's going to take years to cover all that stuff. As a matter of fact, if I cover a monster every day from Kobold Press, Grim Hollow, and Multiverse, I think it would take a year for each of them. And spells? Forget it. There's over 400 in 5e alone. That's going to take over a year. And you could add several more years to that from the monsters from the older edition. But you know what? It's exciting to have so much content ahead of me to pull from. I'll never not have something to cover, which is comforting. And if you made it this far in the video, I want to point out that we have a subreddit now. I just started this subreddit this week, and I want to use it for Dungeon Master Hotline. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be doing a Dungeon Master Hotline stream every Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Time. And I acknowledge that not everybody can make that time. So if you have a question for DM Hotline, you can post it here on the subreddit. Over time, as the subreddit grows, it may evolve past just Hotline post, at which point we can use flares to sort through it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you know how YouTube works. Hit those buttons, leave a comment down below. Day 100 asking for cows. If you want to be a part of this D&D community, make sure you join the Discord. Link will be in the description. Also, the subreddit in the description. Come by, ask questions. Let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you at sundown.